I'm gonna write Jenny a long letter. I always write her a letter when I've had a bit of gear. He looks at his pupils in the mirror. I don't feel like I've had any. I've got a manky taste in my mouth. The gear was cut. The Born Identity, Robert Ludlam. You pick up one of those books, you aren't going to put it down. Stealing from a thief was I, that day in Harley Street, booting down a door and strolling off through the rain. They never mentioned in court, in the press, that the only object I truly, completely, single-mindedly stole, not trust, not friendship, a Burberry umbrella. A melody always finds me, the Chat Noir. In the fabric of night, the conquest of time, to awakening delight, dreams deflect from the crime. Of corruption and embittered gratitude towards injustice, I will to the cells of my sleep, wherein walls weep with blood, and webs tighten the shroud to my skull. The black cat of my myth encourages hope, like lucklust, stringy blankets for a cover and an armed robber for a bunk bed mate. Good night again, Peter, my love, sweet boy. William Brown of the Mirror. I never saw such an amazing sight involving my senses as when Will took the square plate of mirrored glass and held it out of the cell window this one cold Saturday night. The pink neon of the Wandsworth wasteland, and brick and aluminium all before and below, and around in the flattened view by the derelict churches. I stood on a chair and looked over his shoulder to behold a grid in the shape of the small looking-glass. The flickering image of the whole prison wing, a blaze of brown stone etched into the night, serried sills, ranks of cell windows, seemingly immovable, an implacable monument of stone. Villein reruns helplessly, haplessly, though not without some hope, to bung the chilly draught of injustice. Villein waits in his time, as slow Sunday stands asleep, solemnly in the way of the awakening need of his needs. Is it fireworks or gun shops that pop somewhere over the barbed wire? He doesn't care, straining to interpret the banging and bloop-bloops and busying of the guards and cons on the landings, each rattling of keys a testimony to the hunger of... Villein, where's my grub? Monday the 8th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, day after day after day. Aye, wherefore art thou? Hold your horses, Villein. You've got 2 more nights in Wandsworth. What is the incarceration of a vain individual if it enable an immortal word to blossom and to create, in Keats's words, an eternal source of ecstasy? This is all part of the long struggle towards the purest ideal, Mr. S. Melmoth. Bilo and Biggles go together like a cup. Oh, Grey and Giggles. The white light is divided into 1,000 or many more screens, while light through a dark green blanket, muffling the cell of draught, How warm green. We lay on our bunks, drifting in and out of dreams and rattles and longed for release, and also to leave the place, though that remains a different matter. I ask for details. Less disinterest, it would be hard to imagine, in the sarcastic faces and the cheery voices of the guards. All the guards. It pinches the goodness from the soul. They give not an inch nor a toss for Villein's polite request, for Villein's simple rights, tasks avoided. I am compounded and confounded and frustrated, complicated, boiling under the oily Sunday skin. The revolt of the puppets. Returns vite nouveau. What awaits Villein at the gate? A return to the life negated? Prating voices and prying eyes, mistaking the impossible truth for lies, and autumn leaves, languorous parks and ponds and pals. Once Upon a Time by Joan Robinson. There was a sailor bound for service. Choice was took. Away. So the sailor he deserted. He had something to say. Once there was a time when this word would never be, but we will all agree that this is not that time. There was a rumour about a father had no time of day, so the father lost his bearings. The children heard him say, once there was a time. There was a driver went for shelter, had nowhere to say. So the driver ran for cover. They took his name away. Once there was a time, deserted, he had something to say. Once there was a time when this would never be, but we will all agree that this is not that time. One sea rise, silences, cornflakes, prison breakfast. The prison system is terrible, that it hardens the hearts, whose hearts it does not break, and brutalizes those who have to carry it out, no less than those who have to submit to it. Wormwood over blokery. Last CE 30. Guilty, let those who know not what a thing temptation is. Let those who have not walked as we have done in the red fire of passion, those whose lives are dull and colourless, in a word, let those, if any such there be, who have not loved, cast stones against you.